A couple weeks ago, a really good Japanese emo album finally got put on Spotify after over 20 years. And I was excited because it's a great album, but y'all were too, and you wanted me to talk about it. So let me tell you about Art School's Requiem for Innocence. This record came out in 2002, and it was the first of many albums from Art School, but I think Requiem for Innocence is probably the one they're best known for, even though it wasn't on streaming until recently. That kind of limited its reach overseas because it was either listen to it in full on YouTube or spend $100 to buy a vinyl of it from bestbuy.com. I swear to God, this is a real listing, and the fact that it's sold out means that someone probably bought it. This album kicks off really well with the opening track, Boy Meets Girl, which is one of my favorites on the record. It's got the classic whiny emo vocals, and they're thrown over really edgy sounding guitars. It's the shortest track on the album, but it's got really tight songwriting and doesn't waste even a second of its 2.5 minute runtime. This track is also catchy as hell. Like, the riffs are instantly memorable, and the singer's melody is one of the defining moments of the whole album for me. And just like on Boy Meets Girl, there are great hooks and great melodies littered all over this thing. Take the song right after that one, Regret. It's probably the most J-rock song on the album, if that makes any sense. The singing is the best part of it, as he uses his voice to elevate the song into this like huge, big J-rock type of chorus. It's great, and stuff like that is a big reason for why this album is so fun. Barely a song goes by without something from it getting stuck in your head. Whether that's the peaking screams on Meltdown or the guitar lines on Iris, Requiem for Innocence is full of stuff that catches your ear, gets in your head, and kind of forces you to come back often. It's also a very active album. Like I said, Boy Meets Girl wastes no time. You press play and it launches you straight into it. There's no real outro to speak of either. You get the last chorus, and then it ends and goes straight into the next song. It's a record that doesn't give you a lot of chances to catch your breath outside of some quieter bridges and the 5 seconds on Spotify between when one song ends and the next one begins. It's 12 tracks, 40 minutes, and it spends almost that entire time going full blast. And it's not just the album that's packed full, even the individual songs are. Take Youkubo no Tsubasa as an example. It's a noisy song that contrasts quieter and drum-focused verses with a chorus that drops you into super loud, overwhelming guitars. That track ends and it goes straight into another good example, Iris. It's one of the shorter songs on the record, driven by the sick guitar lines that I mentioned earlier, and a bass that's almost single-handedly carrying the energy at points. I also like the songwriting a lot on this one. It does a fake chorus drop into a quick 2-line verse and then back into the actual chorus. It's like riding a roller coaster. You're going up, you drop a little, you go up some more, and then it's the big one. You can really tell from listening to this album that Art School loves their loud guitars. That's really one of the trademark things with this record. The guitars are loud, in your face, and they like to overwhelm the rest of the song at points, especially during the choruses. Yokubo no Tsubasa is the best example of that, but there's also the great Sharin no Shita, which I think is instrumentally one of the best songs on the record. The guitars launch in to provide an incredible chorus drop, but there's also some growly bass and bouncy drums to push it forwards. And even though I think the instrumental steals the show on this one, the singer is still able to provide that chorus drop with one of the album's defining moments. The only time this album really lets off the gas is in the last 2 songs. And on the track Charlotte, it's because they're just building it up to something great. That track spends 3.5 minutes on a melancholy build-up that's mostly kept alive by a really good drum beat. Once you arrive at the destination, though, the band is right back at it, ending the track off with a super loud and shouty climax that I honestly think would have worked great as the end of the album. I mean, the only problem with it is that it leaves the actual closer, Kawaita Hana, feeling more like a bonus track afterwards. That track is still pretty catchy, though, so not all bad. One thing I think this album might be missing is that it doesn't really have that like one killer hit single to drive it home. The closest thing is my personal favorite track on the album, Meltdown. The verses feel scenic, as if you're driving down an ocean highway, but it never lets you get too comfortable, kicking you straight back into my favorite chorus on the whole album. It serves as an example of some of the things this album does so well. The singer is on point here, with his energetic screaming making this track a must listen, and they envelop him with their big, loud waves of guitar. It's great. And while it might not have that one killer song, a lot of why I love this record is because of how consistent it is. There's never a real drop drop in quality at any part of it. Tracks like Boy Meets Girl and Regret start the album super strong. Bangers like Youkubo no Tsubasa and Iris hold up the middle section. And more really good tracks like Charlotte and Foolish end the album off. It's always on and it's always consistent, and those types of albums are the ones I end up re-listening to the most. It makes a really good comfort album. Like, maybe I'm going on a long drive and I'm not sure of what to listen to. I'll just throw on Requiem for Innocence, since I know everything on it is good, it's energetic enough to keep me focused, and I'm not gonna have to get distracted by trying to skip around it at all. And that's made even easier by the fact that it's now on Spotify, so I don't have to have a YouTube video playing on my phone while I'm driving. I think Requiem for Innocence is a real gem of Japanese rock music, and I hope now that it's more broadly available, more people are able to check it out, because I think it's one that deserves a lot of attention. Heck, that's why I'm making this video. It's a cool record, go listen to it. I found this band in the first place from their song Scarlet, which is part of a compilation that is on Spotify. It's a great song, a bit cleaner than many of the ones on Requiem for Innocence, but it's up there with some of the best tracks on the record. Listen to that too. Anyways, thank y'all so much for watching this. I really do appreciate y'all. You can always like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff if you're feeling it. Love y'all. Again, thanks so much. Bye.